Hello, welcome back to another episode of Geek Lunch Meat. I'm your host Chris, as usual. Thanks for joining me. A few subscribers this week, absolutely fantastic. Thanks to anyone that subscribed and viewed. If you haven't subscribed yet, why not just hit that subscribe button now? Give us a thumbs up if you like what you see. It helps out the channel no end, and I will love you forever. On with this week's news. Straight away, a little bit of news. Why The Last Man has been cancelled. Probably not a surprise. It hasn't even got through its first season yet, and they have pulled the plug. It is being shopped around. It was on FX on Hulu, Disney Plus here in the UK. It's being shopped around, I believe, by the producers. HBO Max is one home they're possibly looking at. Yeah, it's a shame. I am persevering with it, but as I've said before on here, it's not the comic. The comic is great. The comic is fun. I love it. I think my friend summed it up. He said to me, it's like watching Walking Dead without the zombies, and he's pretty much right. That's no fun at all. It's a post-apocalyptic. People are trying to make their way, carry on civilization as normal, but there's no threat now that all the men have basically died. There is no threat like say with zombies or aliens or anything else that you would have. So and it moves very slow. And it's strangely decided. The comic very much is Yorick and his monkey ampersand and Agent 355 working their way across America, and him wanting to eventually get to his fiancee Beth, who's in Australia. And the show has decided instead to mostly seem to show what's going on in the White House. And just become almost like a political. It's a drama. It's like The West Wing, just with an all-female cast. Yeah, I am persevering. There's only a few episodes left. As I say, that could very well be the end of it, which is such a shame. It was in development for so long. It went through so many different iterations. It was originally going to be a movie. Then there was a different showrunner. I think they actually filmed a pilot for it. In the end, decided to go this direction, which I'm not. Yeah, I don't know how. I think a lot of people have just, I think, just switched off. It's just a bit boring, unfortunately. But yeah. So, Why the Last Man cancelled. Yeah, if you've not watched it yet, maybe just go and buy You can buy the comics in collected volumes. I think there's about 10 graphic novels that I've got. Collects the whole story. It's much better. Do that instead. Trailer this week for Hit Monkey. I must admit, I am not aware of Hit Monkey, but apparently it was a comic book created as possibly as a parody of, is it the Hitman computer games, I think. I could be mistaken there. Correct me if I'm wrong in the comments below. It is coming to Hulu on November the 17th. So I assume we'll get that on Disney Plus here in the UK. It's the same people that do the MODOK animated show, which I have watched some of. It just reminds me of the Robot Chicken parodies of superheroes, but just drawn out over a whole series. So I must admit, I did get bored of that after a few episodes. It's quite funny, but yeah, give that a go if that's your thing. But yeah, Hitmonkey looks pretty good. It's the same people. You've got Olivia Munn, Jason Sudeikis, and the inimitable George Takei. It appears, from what I can see in the trailer, it's a monkey who is haunted by a hitman. It looks like this hitman dies. His ghost joins forces with this monkey, and the monkey and effectively becomes the hit monkey of the title, funnily enough. Yeah, to get their revenge or to assassinate people. I don't know. But yeah, it looks great. Say November the 17th. Yeah, and a monkey killing people with some machine guns is right up my alley. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. We also got the new Ghostbusters Afterlife trailer. Great buzz on Ghostbusters Afterlife. The advanced reviews have been great. Apparently, it's perfect nostalgia for those of us that watched the original, but it does a really good job of updating it, bringing in these new younger cast members, obviously with a possibility. I imagine that they are hoping that they will be able to carry it forward as part of a new franchise. Yeah, the trailer is great. It shows a lot more. We get to see a lot more of the actual sort of plot, some of the backstory as well, what was happening with Egon, and obviously this is his grandkids finding all of his Ghostbusters stuff years later. We actually see a lot more of the Gozers, the demon dog things that were chasing them around in the original film, and now chasing poor Rudd around a supermarket. More of the little mini Stay Puft Most Mellow Man, which I imagine will be a big hit of everyone everywhere. Yeah, that is November the 19th. That hits not long to go now. I'm massively looking forward to that. Yeah, let me know if you're looking forward to it. I didn't. I know everyone rags on the all-female version. It was all right. Yeah, it wasn't a patch on the original. If you just sort of take it for what it is, I thought it was quite funny in places. It doesn't bother me that they do these, reboots of things and decide to change it all around. The originals are still there. Obviously, I'd love to there to be a new, when they do something, do it well so that we can get a new franchise out of it and get more of it. Which hopefully this looks like. This is what Ghostbusters Afterlife is doing. So yeah, November the 19th. Also on November 19th was the Cowboy Bebop, the live action adaptation of the anime, hits Netflix with John Cho. They have just released a new little teaser. It's not actually, I don't think it's footage from the show. It's something they're calling the Lost Session. So it's just like a little sort of snippet and give you a flavour of what it's going to look like, what the style is. I think it looks absolutely fantastic. I've never seen anime. That has also just dropped on Netflix. You can now watch the whole thing. I think it is on there. So I'm going to catch up with that during the week. But yeah, it looks almost like an Edgar Wright early Scott Pilgrim versus the World vibe to it. Very stylish. The transitions, sort of animated transitions between things. I haven't seen the anime. I don't know if that's what that is, if that's literally bringing that to life or not. But yeah, I think it looks really good. I know typical. So I've said this before. Anime fans don't like people coming in and doing live action adaptations, and it's being sort of slated before it's even come out. Per se, as someone who's never seen the anime, I think it looks really good, and I'm looking forward to it. So again, that is November the 19th. So yeah, I can't wait for that one. The big trailer this week for me was Uncharted, the long-awaited movie based on the Naughty Dog video game. I absolutely loved them, all four of them, and the spin-off one they did, Lost Legacy, was it? I think. Absolutely great. Obviously, very much a modern retelling of Indiana Jones, that Tomb Raider style. I've said before, I love adventure stuff. It's coming out February the 18th. Obviously, Tom Holland as Nathan Drake, Mark Wahlberg as Victor Sully Sullivan, Sophia Ali as Chloe, and Antonio Banderas in there. I somehow seem to miss that he was in it. He's also going to be in the recently announced delayed Indiana Jones 5. So he's getting in on the adventure action as well. And yeah, the trailer is a good trailer, and there are lots of good stuff from the game in there. And I really hope they've nailed it. Obviously, video games haven't got a great record. Video game adaptations, I should say, haven't got a great record in the cinema, unfortunately. Hopefully, this one can change it around. One thing I will say is, so the set pieces look great. There's a bit from Uncharted 3. One of the best set pieces in the game was when he was falling, when Nate's falling out this big cargo plane, and having to sort of climb back in on the all the cargo that's sort of hanging in nets off the back of the plane above this desert. Absolutely fantastic sequence in the game. They've replicated it almost to a T in the trailer. Looks brilliant. There are some shots where he comes out the water and in a subterranean sort of cavern with a pirate ship. That's straight. I mean, the shot looks identical to the way it's done in. I think that's in Uncharted 4. Yeah, it looks like it's got the essence of the game perfectly. Now, the only thing is, the main characters do not look like or act very much like the characters in the game. Hopefully, that shouldn't be too much of a problem. I mean, like, you can see why they've done it. They've cast Tom Holland as Nate and Mark Wahlberg as Victor. They've gone younger than they are in the games. Obviously, there are some flashbacks in the games where you do see them younger. I can see it makes perfect business sense. If this is successful and you want to make a franchise out of it, then it makes absolute sense. Go with a younger actor so that they can grow with the role. I mean, they look the part. They have sort of dressed Nate. He's dressed the same way as he is in the game. Yeah, it's just that the little thing. Hopefully, it won't matter. If it's just a great adventure movie, I'll be happy with that. If later on, obviously, if they make more films and he gets older and grows into the role, becomes more like the Nate of the game, then good. But yeah, that is, as I say, February 18th. I'm looking forward to it. I pray to the movie gods that it's good. The Tomb Raider, the last one they did, based on the new trilogy of games. That original trailer looked pretty good. There were some sequences straight out of the game in that, and unfortunately, the game was not. The film was not very great. I didn't think. So yeah, hopefully this one bucks the trend and gives us something well worth watching. Also, some news. Ahsoka, the Star Wars Disney Plus TV show that is coming. I don't think it's probably next year. I think it'll be the year after. Obviously, Ahsoka was introduced in The Mandalorian. Well, in live action, The Mandalorian. Obviously, she's been in the Clone Wars and Rebels animated shows before. But it's been announced this week that Hayden Christensen is bringing his role of Anakin Skywalker / Darth Vader to the Ahsoka show, which is good. We know he's going to be in the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, which is definitely coming next year, which we can't wait for. Presumably, this is going to be flashbacks because obviously the show is set after Return of the Jedi, and obviously Vader is dead by then. Spoilers, if you've not seen the original Star Wars trilogy, and if you haven't, why are you watching this geek show? Clear off. But yeah, Hayden Christensen's come back, so it does make perfect sense. I hadn't thought about it before, but now that it's been announced, it makes perfect sense. Ahsoka is Dave Filoni's baby. He's brought her in. He come up with her in Clone Wars and has seen her through and into Rebels and then into The Mandalorian, and now into her own live action series, where I imagine she's going to be carrying on her search for Grand Admiral Thrawn, who will become the big bad guy of this sort of Star Wars TV universe. So it makes perfect sense that obviously a big part of her backstory is that she was Anakin's apprentice. Now, obviously, if you've never seen the cartoons, you wouldn't really know any of this. And obviously, it's a massive, important part of her story. So for your average member of the public who hasn't watched any animated shows won't know any of that backstory. So I think, which is going to be great if if this is what they're doing, and we're going to get to see Anakin and Ahsoka in live action interacting, during the Clone Wars times with her as his Padawan. I can see, it gives Filoni an absolute excuse to do the Clone Wars in live action, which would be great because I wish they'd done that originally. I know it was George's decision to start the Clone Wars at the end of Attack of the Clones, then finish the Clone Wars at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith, and then just show the Clone Wars through various different medium, animated shows and books and comics and computer games and things like that. I would just love to have seen a movie, live action Clone Wars movie, along the lines of Rogue One, but something epic, a big 3-hour war epic, with Anakin and Padme, falling in love over the course of this massive galactic war. But I digress. I mean, it would have been great. Maybe someday we'll get something like it. But yeah, back to the actual news story was that Hayden Christensen is going to be in the Ahsoka TV show. So yeah, that is going to be good. Stuff I've watched this week. Not a great deal. Been catching up. Black Widow Assembled, the series of making ofs that they put on Disney Plus. The Black Widow one is on there. It's about an hour long. It's good if you like the film. It's very good behind the scenes. It's good that this sort of stuff that you get on DVD and Blu-ray releases, all the extras and deleted scenes and stuff, is that Disney Plus do actually put them on onto the channel so you can see them. Check that out. Reservation Dogs is also on Disney Plus. 3 episodes so far. I'm really enjoying it. It is it's produced by Taika Waititi, who I've said before, absolute man crush, love the man to death. It is about I was going to say a bunch of youths. That just makes me sound incredibly old, but yeah, for the purposes, it's about a bunch of youths growing up on a Native American reservation and the shenanigans they get up to, the rival gangs that are there. It's not like massively laugh out loud, but although I'm saying that, there are bits, there are some lines that that did make me laugh. It's in line with, if you've seen Taika Waititi's earlier films like Boy, very similar to that. It would almost be like, oh yeah, it's like a nice gentle, coming of age, growing up story, except it's punctuated with lots of swearing and violence and sort of dodgy things like that. But yes, 3 episodes on there, they're only half hour each. Give it a go, see if it's your thing. I really like it. Then say I love Taika Waititi and all the stuff he does. And it's right up my alley. So yeah, Reservation Dogs. That is Disney Plus. The Movies That Made Us is back. The new season of it on Netflix as well. Same people who made the Toys That Made Us. If you've not seen any of them before, like the Toys That Made Us is looking back documentaries on all the different toys, mostly like sort of during the late 70s and the 80s. Obviously, people of my age grew up with. There's a whole episode devoted to Star Wars, He-Man, Barbies, My Little Ponies, Transformers, things like that. Then they did the Movies That Made Us, which basically does the same thing and just picks these iconic movies that I grew up loving. They've done more: Back to the Future, Die Hard, Jurassic Park, Ghostbusters. This new season, you've got, I suppose with Halloween coming up, you've got Halloween, Friday the 13th, Nightmare on Elm Street, Robocop, Aliens, Coming to America, Night Before Christmas, and Elf. So you've got a whole, gamut of different movies. There's something there for everyone to enjoy. I know they've done Home Alone before, amongst other Christmas movies as well. And there's other comedies on there. Forrest Gump is on there as well, I think. And it's just little documentaries that just look back, obviously very nostalgic, but they get new interviews with the stars and people that worked on the films as well. So they're really well done. I would give them a go. That is about it for this week, I think. June is out, I should say that as well. Go and see June. I haven't had a chance to go and watch it yet. Hopefully, I'm going to see it tomorrow. So I'll let you know in the next episode on my thoughts on that. Also, next week, I'm going to London to see The Shark is Broken, the new play based on Jaws, co-written by and starring Robert Shaw's son, obviously, who played Quint. So where he's playing his dad. It's got fantastic reviews, so I'm really looking forward to that. Excuse me. I'll give you a review of that next week as well. So until then, take care and eat geek and be merry.